All right, so I'm Vykromond, and what we're going to do right now is take a look at the losers bracket grand finals of the raid called Dota 2 League, which is sponsored by the Evil Geniuses organization and primarily commented by AC and Draskell. And I'm here with Vanick, who's a friend of mine, and I'll give him a chance to introduce himself. Vanick, why don't you talk a little about yourself?
I'm Vanick. I like to play Dota. I'm not very good at Dota, so this is a good cast for me to be on.
All right, so, and one thing that you should know about Vanick, because we might see this hero, is that he really, really hates Lone Druid. So if a Lone Druid is picked up in this game, I'm going to rely on you to talk about it, Vanick, and tell us all the details about why it's a bad pick and why they shouldn't play it.
Well, it's a great pick. It's just, we'll see. I defy you to name me a game where a Lone Druid pick lost.
There's quite a few, but it's okay. So let's actually jump into this draft. So what we are is we're in game 3. Dignitas actually took the first game of this losers bracket final, and then EG just came back and took the second one. And one of the reasons they were able to take the second one is this Magnus pickup that they just secured. So we started with the bans. I'll go very, very quickly through them. They took out Sven, popular carry, Batrider, the best solo mid. So that's what Dignitas took out. They didn't want Demon on that. Batrider is very strong on it. He's probably going to be on that Magnus. And then EG took out Bounty Hunter, which is what Dignitas have really been relying on the last 2 games, sort of getting a lot of gold on the back of the Bounty Hunter and dominating the mid game with it. And they took out Darkseer, who's just sort of generically an extremely good off-lane hero, just great team fight component. So Evil Geniuses took the EG took the Magnus, and Dignitas responds by taking Templar Assassin and Undying. These are 2 very strong heroes. In the last game, EG actually picked up Undying, and they were able to combo that well with some of their other pieces. So Dignitas will be happy to take that. And TA is she's sort of the strongest mid hero left in the pool. When you take out Batrider, she's sort of the second best middle hero in the game. So they're really going to be looking to exert dominance over the mid lane with that TA. And EG will be a little more scared to send their Magnus mid if it's going to be up against a Templar Assassin, I think. What do you think, Vanick?
Well, I would expect a stronger mid pick out of EG to go against TA. I'm kind of curious why Magnus was not banned originally.
Yeah, I'm surprised after the amount of dominance that Magnus had in the previous game. It's interesting that Dignitas chose to ban Sven in particular.
Right.
Maybe Magnus would have been a better option than the Sven to ban out first. But I mean,
I get
yeah,
I get Batrider, I get Darkseer. I don't quite get Sven and
right. I mean, EG was never gonna ban Magnus because they wanted him first pick and they had first pick.
Right.
So their 2 bans are sort of accounted for. But it's interesting that Dignitas chose to take out Sven. I mean, they don't want to give Fear that very strong mid-game carrying high damage hero, and
Right.
certainly Sven would combo up really well with Magnus if they got both of them, but it is interesting that they didn't ban him. I think maybe they thought that since TA was going to get through, they could push the Magnus out of mid and they don't need to worry about him there. But I
but
think...
as we know, he's a strong side lane.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So in the Chinese metagame, actually, he's being played completely as a off lane solo. So that could be very well where they'll put Demon on that Magnus.
right.
So it's interesting, but EG definitely going for the wombo combo, as it were. That's sort of the term for it. Teamfight composition with that Veno, the Venomancer, and the Enigma. So if they sync up these ultimates, they got the reverse polarity, the Black Hole, and the Poison Nova. There's just gonna be no way that any heroes that Dignitas picks up are gonna live through that if it all lands. And I know that actually you and I ran a Magnus Enigma combo pretty recently. It didn't work out that great, but I think we did.
Well,
do it.
the ult chain worked out pretty great.
That's
but,
true. I can't remember why we lost, actually. Why did we lose?
Our carry was unable to perform her duties.
Oh, that was the Phantom Assassin.
Yes.
So I wonder if we'll see that again. I feel like most likely not. I actually was not present for the draft phase of the previous game, so I'm not sure what happened there, but it was very interesting because Jo, who's EG's number 2 player, so he's not the one who usually goes on the most farm necessary hero, but this sort of second most farming hero. Jo ended up on a Phantom Assassin in the side lane, which is very unusual to have Phantom Assassin solo on a side lane, but that's what they did in that game. And that actually worked out pretty well for them. I don't know if we'll see it again. I wonder if it was just because a bunch of heroes that they had the rest would take were banned out. So that may have been it. What's interesting is that in this game, they sort of left their 2 more farmed heroes for later, since I suspect their supports are going to be on these first 3 heroes. So we would see Melk on either the Enigma or the Venomancer. I think a little more likely on the Enigma, although he has more Venomancer experience. And then Beatiz will be playing the Venomancer, and Demon will be on the Magnus, which means that they need a hero for Fear and a hero for Jo. So they need basically 2 more farm-requiring heroes for these last 2 slots. So you'll probably see Dignitas ban out, like side lanes and carry heroes for the last 3 slots, I think. It's interesting that EG has actually banned out carry heroes as well. Both teams still need their primary carry heroes, so they're trying to take those out.
Yeah. Juggernaut banned to stop strong pushing from Enigma Venomancer.
That's true. That's a good point. Dignitas sort of got afraid that with the ads, with the
Eidolons
from the conversions from Enigma, and the wards from Venomancer, that EG was going to push very, very heavily. So they're taking out the Broodmother for push, and they took out the Juggernaut for push, which is smart probably. They also did the Juggernaut. That would be Fear likes to play that hero. That would be good for him. And then EG has also taken out carries, less push-oriented ones, but more just. The Naga Siren would be very, very disruptive for this combo that they're trying to pull off, because Naga Siren's ultimate Song of the Siren sort of disables everybody on the opposing team for a very long time, and that would sort of make it very difficult for them to actually land the elements of their combo. And then they take out Windrunner, just to sort of oppress the sort of off lane for Dignitas, because Dignitas basically needs an off lane and a carry, and EG needs a carry, and I don't know, depending on where they're going to put this Magnus in off lane.
Well, Magnus can offlane.
Yeah, no problem. Definitely.
So carry and probably a mid.
A mid, yeah. They might pick up Quap. So Queen of Pain is still in the mix. She's probably the best solo mid still available. They could go for more non-traditional things. I know that Jo really likes to play Storm Spirit, but I don't see why they probably would go Quap. The Magnus reverse
I'm
polarity.
expecting Queen of Pain pick from
EG.
From EG.
Yeah. I think if I were them, I mean, I'm not them and I'm very bad, but and they take out the Void. It's still taking out carries on both teams. Yeah, I think Quap probably, once you have people in place with the reverse polarity or the black hole, it's very, very easy to land Queen of Pain's huge ultimate and her E. Yeah. So Queen of Pain is just able to
it adds to the wombo combo-ness of the first 3 picks. Not that it's necessarily needed, but, Magnus reverse polarity plus that, or any of 2.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think it's needed. You really need the follow-on damage, especially with Enigma. Like, sometimes you just end up with great Enigma black holes that aren't followed up.
The black hole's not going to kill anyone. It's just going to set you up for other stuff.
Yeah, exactly. There's an interesting game with IG and the LGD the other day in the G1 League semifinals, where Chuan, who's one of IG's support players, was on Rubik, and he stole a black hole, and he landed a perfect black hole on every member of LGD. And then realized sort of halfway through that nobody was there to actually do any damage on top of it. So it's
the worst feeling.
Oh yeah, definitely.
When you land one and you're like, "This is the best thing I've ever done in my Dota career," and there's literally no one around to capitalize.
Exactly.
So
they go for Furion. So definitely EG going heavy push. Furion has I should just call him Nature's Prophet. He's colloquially known as Furion. So Nature's Prophet is an interesting pick. His star has fallen and risen and sort of fallen and risen again. We almost didn't see him in the metagame for a while after the most recent patch, when sort of the game turned to very aggressive kills and ganks and fighting all over the map. And now he's sort of been sneaking in. In this case, I think we're seeing a more traditional Nature's Prophet use of, we really just want to push, and we're sort of going to use this in furtherance of our push strategy.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's options with the Nature's Prophet. You can put him jungle, although you can also put an Enigma jungle, and he's a little more effective. You can actually run Prophet mid if you want.
I would expect Prophet to be mid.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I know that much about what's the best thing to do, but
they can't pick up another mid hero now unless they do something really wacky, like put Fear on Nature's Prophet, which I don't recommend. They need a hero for Fear. And so they're not likely to pick up another mid.
Right.
They could still go Quap and put Fear on Nature's Prophet, but it would be wacky.
Sure.
IG did that earlier today.
I would expect to see Enigma jungling and Prophet in mid. That's just if I was in a game with these heroes, that's what I would try to do. But I'm not a pro, so
yeah. I mean, no, I think you're right. I think it's probably going to be Furion in mid, although Furion is it's not very favorable against Templar Assassin. Oh wow. So they pick up Gyrocopter. This Fear is going to be on the Gyrocopter. You can play him as a carry, and that's probably what they're going to do. Gyrocopter is an unusual pick. You pretty rarely see him. He can actually be played in the middle. Let me run down quickly what Gyrocopter does for people that don't know. Gyrocopter has a suite of abilities, some of which are effective at very short range, and some of which are effective at very long range, so he's sort of an interesting mix-up player. And then Dignitas picks up the very traditional anti-mage for their hard carry player. They sort of think that with this Gyrocopter pick, it's not quite as much push as maybe some of the other choices that they could have had, so Dignitas is safe enough to get farm up on this anti-mage. This could be an interesting choice, actually. They don't have a lot to shut down anti-mage on EG, but if they do have an aggressive enough composition that if they sort of gank this anti-mage all over the map, it's going to be very...
Well, if they can get...
Yeah.
If
they can get pick-offs on them, I think.
Picking them off is going to be important, but in a real team fight, you've got to be careful about not getting locked down as anti-mage, because they don't have... They've got 2 stuns, right?
Yeah.
They've got
right.
Leshrac, Split Earth, and then telekinesis from Rubik.
Yeah, they can use the Rubik telekinesis to set up. Yeah, most likely. So, is that gonna be an Undying long lane? Do you think? Undying hasn't played as a side lane solo before. It's definitely possible. They really could put any of those 3 characters on the solo lane. Undying is really good as part of a tri lane, just for his additional ability to just bully people out of the lane.
Right.
But I wonder if they won't put Undying on the solo lane because of that Rubik Leshrac combo that's able to just be very, very threatening and keep pressure off of Aoi, who's going to be playing this anti-mage.
But, yeah. I mean, the thing is, Leshrac and Undying both want levels.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I wouldn't expect both of them in the tri line. So...
they're most likely going to run... Rubik these days is almost always run as a support, so it'd probably be something like Undying, Anti-Mage, Rubik, if it's going to be that. If it's not Undying on the solo lane, but I think it's probably going to be Undying on the solo lane, honestly.
Probably. I would expect either Leshrac or Undying on the solo lane.
Yeah.
I would not expect Rubik to be down there.
Yeah. So let's take a look at EG. So we've got Milk on the Enigma. Jo is going to be playing Nature's Prophet, and then Demon on the Magnus, Beat on the Venomancer, and Fear playing the hard carry Gyrocopter. I wonder if they're not going to run an aggressive tri-lane top. I think that might be what they do to try to anti-pressure this top lane that Dignitas is going to have. And it's interesting. So Dignitas are going to try to 4-man invade the Radiant jungle. So Aoi's just going straight to top, you can see. But the rest of Dignitas are all sort of heading in this direction. So that's very interesting.
Use Aoi 2000.
It doesn't look like they're going to get any pickoffs if they do that. Okay, maybe they changed their minds.
They're going to do 1-2-2? Or...
that would be very strange. Anti-Mage solo is going to have a pretty tough time. They can't really do anything about his blink, but he's not going to get good farm at all.
Yeah, it'd be pretty wild.
Also, Anti-Mage himself can't do anything about Gyrocopter Rocket. Like, he needs people to pick up the... So the way the Gyrocopter Rocket works is that it's a homing missile that he places on the ground, and it chases a player sort of for an indefinite distance. And the longer it travels, the more damage and longer stun it deals. But it can be destroyed in flight, typically by other ranged DPS heroes. So they are going to... We do see Dignitas trying to disrupt. We've got Tides of Time, Way Too Sexy, and Fogged sort of hunting around here, but there's nobody here really. There's just this one Jo, and he's...
Well, they're expecting a jungler to get set up. They're going to try and block some spawns, I believe.
Yeah, I actually think they might not even run a jungler. They're going to run Demon mid after all. That's sort of where he likes to play that Magnus, I think. They're Jo on the side lane solo, and the tri-lane top to fuck up Anti-Mage. Yeah. And it might work. I really like that top tri-lane against Anti-Mage, actually. And if this really is a 1-2-2 from Dignitas, which is wacky.
I think Rubik's going top. He doesn't realize that Veno's here in
Viz. Yeah, he doesn't. Veno can't pick him off by himself, so he's not really in that much danger.
Gank attempt on Templar Assassin mid.
Yeah, wow. So that's... so Magnus
pretty good skewer.
Yeah, he's dead, I think. Snake King is
this is going to be first blood.
Brutal. So that skewer is just so good. So
that positioning
E-ability from Magnus, Skewer, basically pushes a target that it hits into the direction that he's traveling. So he got behind Snaking, he pushed him in this direction. As a consequence, Snaking ended up all the way over here, unable to escape from Beatus' ability to slow. Venomancer is just a tremendously dangerous hero at level 1 with that Venomous Gale, and so Snaking had no chance to escape. Did he even take Refraction first? He did take Refraction first.
He did take it first, yes.
Didn't help too much. And he's getting skewered again, and now he's going to take tower damage. This is... Yeah, I shouldn't have doubted the Magnus in mid against Templar Assassin. This is brutal. We got Jo jumping in here, top. Tides of Time might die. Tides of Time will die. Wow, and EG just roaring out of the gate in this third game. This is a remarkable start for them. Gyrocopter picks up that kill too.
Yes, they've got no one left bottom, but I mean,
are they running? Yeah, I mean, Jo will come back there as soon as this TP cooldown comes
sure.
up. I mean, at level 1, it's an extremely long cooldown. He's just TPing down with his advanced item. I mean, it's just fogged here. They did end up running the Leshrac bot, which is sort of what I guess it would either be the Undying or the Leshrac, and they went with the Leshrac. That's probably smart. I think since they're facing so much pressure from this counter tri-lane on top, they need that extra bit of team fight and slowing the enemy to try to keep Aoi alive on the anti-mage. So that's why the Undying's there.
Yeah, and these are the kind of advanced tactics that I missed. Was Enigma doing offensive jungling in the opposing team's jungle as part of a tri-lane, which is...
It's really interesting, yeah.
It frees up...
pretty risky in the sense that, like, you've got 2 supports roaming around this jungle, too. And
so now you see they warded their own jungle to stop him from offensively farming that jungle.
Yeah, that's hilarious, actually. That's a little custom ward graphic. It's the Crystal Maiden ward, I think.
That's like a Scorched Earth tactic right there.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. So initially, you see they planted 3 wards in the bot jungle, thinking that... Sorry, 2 wards in the bot jungle, thinking that... EG were going to jungle their own jungle, which I think was pretty clear that they weren't. But then they sort of used their additional remaining ward to ward their own jungle to prevent this constant pulling that was going to happen here, which is smart. I mean, anti-mage, if creep waves were being pulled away from him so that it wouldn't even have a chance at them, Dignitas' entire game plan would be shot to hell, basically. So they needed that ward.
Yeah, and it's good because it also gives them the vision in the jungle because they're getting pretty.
All things considered, Aoi's doing well, though. He has 13 last hits, which is the same as Gyrocopter. And they're doing well in this solo versus solo lane bot. Leshrac and Nature's Prophet is pretty even. I don't think either has like a huge advantage over the other, but obviously Jo had to leave for a little while to help the kills on top.
Sure.
And in the mid, it's pretty even too. Magnus is just such a strong hero. Snaking's probably just really afraid that at any given moment, he might just get skewered to Kingdom Come.
Well, even though, they're...
Oh, wow. So, Tides of Time did a good job of pressuring Milk out there. Although, now we got Jo jumping in again. Uh-oh. I think Tides is going to die.
Missile's going, yeah. He's stunned.
And the Tombstone's down as well, so now he doesn't even have that slowing ability. So that started with a good play from Tides of Time, but it's almost as if teams are no longer quite as used to having the Nature's Prophet on the map constantly, because one of those things that Nature's Prophet gives you is that global gank presence when you can always jump in. But, he hasn't been seen that much in pro-level games lately, so maybe teams are sort of no longer quite as attuned to the prospect of, hey, Furion could jump in at any moment and just kill me right now.
So something we just missed was Templar Assassin got killed again by Magnus.
Ooh, good call. Wow. I wonder if that was with tower damage or something.
It was with tower damage. He skewered him into it.
Yeah, wow, that's really impressive. Yeah, so Demon is dominating this mid lane, essentially. He's only winning by about 5 last hits, but with he's 2-0-0.
He's got nearly 400 gold per minute.
Yep.
But surprisingly...
He hasn't gone bottle, which is interesting. He's gone boots.
He got bottle. He's ferrying it.
Oh, is he ferrying it?
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, you're right. So he actually has bottle and arcane boots.
Yes.
And yeah, and does TA even have boots? No, Snaking does not even have boots. So that's just the enormous disparity that you see in that middle right now.
Right. And that's part of why she's also dying like that.
Right. She has trouble. Oh wow, he pops the reverse polarity on her and the skewer into Beatiz. Wow. So EG had a game plan. Yeah, he has Snaking can't escape from this. Wow, I think Dignitas might have to change something up and give TA a little more support mid actually, because Snaking's just getting ripped up.
She's been shut down. She's 0-3, 18 last hits, which is pretty poor considering Anti-Mage has, 31.
Yeah.
He's actually doing pretty well.
Yeah, I think Aoi's doing great considering.
Yeah.
This is sort of interesting metagame with Undying versus Enigma in the jungle here. Like, it's just all over the place. And Tombstone is actually quite strong against Enigma because each conversion spawns an additional zombie, so the zombies can kill off the conversions. And that's sort of what we saw in this engagement in the sort of top jungle before Jo jumped in and Tides of Time just sort of went down. But the good news for Dignitas is they are down 5-0, but they haven't lost any towers. Leshrack's getting good farm bot. He's essentially winning against Furon because Furon keeps needing to port away for other business. And Anti-Mage is getting great farm top.
Yeah.
He's out farming Fear substantially. Part of that is because BDiz keeps wandering over to the middle to help this demon snaking lane, which is smart. I mean, it's keeping snaking pinned down, but it also means that Anti-Mage is getting a pretty decent farm rate. He has his Tranquil Boots, very defensive choice because of this defensive lane that he finds himself in. Frequently, Anti-Mages will actually sit on their tier 1 boots, boots of speed, until they finish their Battle Fury or what have you. But Aoi, in this case, feels that he needs the extra speed to get away, and he wants that heal. Oh, and Fear disconnects. So we're going to have a quick pause while they sort of sort that situation out. So what do you think Dignitas should do? So should they sort of stay the course, accept that TA is going to lose mid, and try to win the other lanes, or should they try to change something up?
I don't know. Basically, you've got Leshrack, who only has 1 rank of Edict, so he's not able to push stuff down powerfully, which is okay, I guess. But I don't know. Like if they just stay the course, you know, they're about to lose this top tower, so things become more dangerous for Anti-Mage to farm.
Yeah.
So you can't just, you know, hope that your Anti-Mage is going to get big and you can win that way.
Right.
You know, the real one upside is that the people that have been getting the kills and the money are Magnus and Venomancer.
Right.
And Magnus, he's good, and getting him gold is good, but he's not a carry.
Sure.
So,
and it doesn't look like... It looks like Demon... If I had to guess, Demon is probably going to go Blink again, just like last game. He's not going to go the Dendi, Battle Fury, etc. Magnus. He'll probably go Blink and then maybe BKB or something.
As fun as it is, he's probably not going to go...
he could, honestly. If Fear doesn't get that great farm, and if they're going to... He certainly could go the Battle Fury build, but I don't think it's necessarily necessary. I think they can still rely on Fear to provide most of the farm that they need here.
I think it's rough. You know, you want to get BKBs up because of the level of magic damage and ults and stuff that EG has. So, I don't know. Was Dignitas thinking that, okay, we've got 2 carries, so we can try and get farm on both of them? Or... can they win with 1 carry with farm? I don't know. Undying is level 2. I just noticed this. So
wow, is he really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, he's had to sort of do this roaming jungle pulling, and it's been difficult to pull the jungle because of the interference from Melk and this sort of just constant... Actually, also interestingly, you see that EG has warded the easy camp. So the easiest place for Undying to make up for the deficit that he's facing, and the easiest pull into the lane here to sort of pull this creep wave back and make sure that Fear and Melk can't really do much here, has been completely blocked off.
Yeah.
And
actually, have you noticed that they warded, I don't know why, but Snaking warded, or someone warded the right under their own tower for Dignitas in mid. And I'm not sure, like, it's nighttime, so why?
So you can see people coming up. Basically, this is the warding right here is a safe spot to see the opposite side of the river here. Snaking can't actually... Ideally, you would want like wards like here, here.
Like, it's such a conservative spot that I'm thinking that's how badly he's losing mid, is that they...
Oh, yeah. The thing is, Snaking can't actually go into this river here, into the river, because Demon's going to just reverse polarity and flip him back towards the tower, and that'll be a death. So in order to try to see ganks coming from upriver from BDiz, or from across the river, he needs to ward on his own side, essentially. And it's high ground, so there's no advantage of him warding like in the river versus up here. Up here will give him more overall.
Well, I know you wouldn't want to do it in the river, but I mean you could do it on the other side.
Oh yeah, he definitely feels way too... Snaking is too scared to actually walk over. Without boots of speed, he just doesn't have the mobility to actually do that without putting himself in a great deal of danger. So interestingly, the tower at bottom is only at 554 out of 1300. So I think, although Dignitas will certainly lose the tower up here, especially now that Jo is rotated, they might be able to make a 1-for-1 trade for it. Because Fogged might be able to... there's a siege creep coming up, so he
can clear this wave because he's got Lightning Storm and Split Earth, so he can clear it, get some good damage with his... rank 1 still does a lot of damage to a tower on its own. So he should be able to get it, but it's not going to be.
Yeah, interestingly, yeah, he definitely is trying to pressure Jo out of this lane, prevent Jo from getting too good farm. Usually, frequently on this rack, you see them sort of leveling up Split Earth and Diabolic Edict in proportion with each other, but in certain situations, like this sort of solo lane play, actually see them use this Lightning Storm in order to sort of provide more damage along to actually units rather than buildings. And so I think the Fear is having some sort of computer issues. Is that what's going on here? Oh, yeah, thunderstorm, internet down, no ETA. Well, that's too bad. I will actually be right back then. Why don't you hold the fort down for a second? I gotta take care of something here.
All right.
Be back in a second.
So, I guess now we're seeing, the push comp of EG really starting up now that they've shut down, the mid so strongly and top even. I mean, AM's getting good farm, but that's at the expense of a level 2 Undying, which is terrible. Undying is another, like, he's one of the heroes that you need levels on. Tombstone is good, but rank 1 Tombstone isn't great, especially once we start rolling on further into the game. It's so low they can't have a fight over this tower, even if they wanted to. Like, there's 3 of them plus a tower, and they can't stop it because they just don't have the levels. They don't have anyone that can stand up to them. If this game continues and Vykromond returns, he should probably choose some music to put in this dead space, such as dubstep. That'd be a good choice. Another interesting analysis is EG far enough ahead that they could win with someone controlling Gyrocopter and their own hero? Probably not. The goal difference is only 1,000 in favor of EG, which it's early in the game, so it wouldn't be much more than that. But
hi, how you doing, Joel?
Pretty good.
How's it going?
Glad.
Have you been filling
Pretty
time well?
good.
So let's talk about actually how they got here. So let's talk about the last couple games between EG and Dignitas. So they were pretty interesting. The second game I thought was really interesting. The first game was sort of one-sided. So in the first game, which we'll take a look at right now, we had some interesting hero pickups. So Demon has been playing Magnus this entire series. I think what you sort of see right now is teams are scrambling to pick up Magnus and sort of use him to his full potential, because about a week or two ago, you sort of started seeing these exploratory runnings of Magnus in pro games. So people were like, like, we can try this. We can sort of try it as a support. We can try it as a mid. And then in the last week, we've really seen the sort of Magnus pick just explode. There was an interview with, I think, one of the leading Chinese commentators of Dota in which he called Magnus extremely overpowered, basically. And at the same time, sort of LGD's offlane player Yao said that basically he just wants to play Magnus all the time because he's the strongest offlane hero. And teams have been looking for good offlane heroes. This is definitely a period of time which you're always having an offlane. Like you never have two 1-2s basically. You almost always will have either a tri-lane and then 2 solo lanes, or 2 in a jungler and then 2 solo lanes, or what have you, or 2 in the middle, 2 in a side lane, and then one on the solo lane. But you need solo lane heroes, and there's a sort of small cast of heroes that are very popular on the solo lane. And before this sort of Magnus, it was basically Bounty Hunter, Darkseer, and Windrunner. That was the class of solo lane heroes. You rarely, if ever, saw anybody else.
Well, wasn't that also because Magnus was not in the game?
Oh, no. I mean, like, after it was introduced, but before teams really started running it. Even as recently as, like, 2 weeks ago in the European scene, you would not see Magnus, really. People would be going for Bounty Hunter, or they'd be going for Windrunner or Darkseer. So, I mean, it's interesting. Magnus sort of came out, and people sort of started using him more and more, up to the point where now he's sort of regarded as just, peerless in that off-lane role. And also very, very strong in mid, especially with some gank help, as we just saw. But there's more heroes that are acceptable to run mid, I feel like, than there are heroes that are acceptable to run in the off-lane. So if he's going to be having a home, it's most likely more frequently going to be in that off-lane, I think.
And yet, Templar Assassin has died 3 times, terribly.
Yeah, no, definitely, that's true.
Although, to be fair, that wasn't necessarily just because Magnus is overpowered. It was positioning. I think the first blood was being careless and not understanding,
that they gave up the rune and that there wasn't. Yeah.
Right. And then the rest of it was also because of Vanick. Well, one of them was because of Vanick, because Gale is just so ridiculous. It's a 15-second 50% slow.
Yep.
Which is huge.
That's incredible. Yeah, no, definitely the combo of skewering someone into unfavorable territory and then slowing them 50% before they have boots for them to get back. That's brutal.
Yeah.
So yeah, just quickly, so basically in the first game, EG ran a somewhat non-traditional composition in that they ran Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend has sort of been sneaking his way into the metagame as a potential hard carry choice for your safe lane, just because he does extreme. There's a push now that sort of the game is evolving into this mid-game bloodbath sort of type of game with more kills earlier on. These heroes that deal a good amount of damage via magic and then transition into dealing a lot of damage physically are stronger than they normally would be. So you have your Shadow Fiends of the world, where Shadow Fiend has this very, very powerful damage spells from level 4 to 8, basically, via his Shadow Raise ability. And then, later on, he sort of transitions into the I'll deal a ton of damage with my auto attack.
He is the Shadow Friend.
Right. So that makes him sort of stronger and more of an attractive option, in addition to some of the buffs that he received.
But he is kind of restricted in that in a pro scene, he has to be side laned because you could mid lane him, but if he dies, then he's back to square one.
Exactly. Shadow Fiend is very, very. There's heroes that are sort of called snowball heroes who sort of become better and better the more farm. As they win more and more. Shadow Fiend is almost a reverse snowball in that if he loses more and more and more. You could sort of, if you're under farmed on an anti-mage, but you get your Battle Fury or something, you can claw back into the game because you can just farm anywhere. If you keep dying as Shadow Fiend, and the reason this is because he has a mechanic that the more last hits he gets, the stronger his damage is, but he loses half of his current stacks of damage boosting every time he dies. So if your Shadow Fiend dies 4 times in a row without making that up, he's almost useless.
So really what it is
we're unpausing, I think.
Yes. Right. So you have negative reinforcement loops when you die. When you die, you lose gold, you lose time spent farming, you lose all this stuff, and it makes it harder for you in the future when you die, right?
Right.
So just part of the game design and the balance of the hero is he's so strong, but he's got this additional negative reinforcement that when he dies, he becomes that much weaker compared to.
So Demon flew over, and we had Jo, and they managed to pick off Leshrac. That's really good actually, because Leshrac was probably the bright spot of Dignitas up until now, and he still is. He's still doing very, very well, but that's definitely a setback for him. But yeah, I definitely agree with what you were saying, and I think EG sort of fell victim to that there.
Fear just died.
Yep. So
and
looking at this
Rubik's about to die.
Wow. So Fear just running through them like a hot knife through butter there, and so it's good that they waited for him to get back online, because that was definitely a ton of damage that he just managed to deal along this top lane. So Dignitas are in deep trouble now. They just lost their 2 best farming people on the map in the form of Leshrac and in the form of Anti-Mage, and they're really pushed in on this lane here. This is getting very, very dangerous. You see BDiz is denying this sort of jungle area, and we've got these conversions, and they're just pushing down this lane. This is going to be very, very tough for Dignitas. They definitely still need to get Owie quite a bit of farm before he's actually contributing to this game. The fact that he did go for the tier 2 boots, even really cheap ones like Tranquils, means that it's going to take much longer for him to actually get up to that Battle Fury.
That's true, but he could disassemble him, but into what?
Yeah, that's true. He can disassemble them later and just sell off the components. But I mean, he does only get half value for that.
Yeah.
I mean, usually your anti-mages, he's definitely going to. Eventually, he's going to switch into Power Treads. Power Treads is by far the anti-mage boot of choice.
Mid is looking pretty interesting.
Snaking is being targeted. Fear is just running in. These face boots are great for Gyrocopter because of the speed they give him. Oh, and getting picked off in the back is Rubik. This nuke actually didn't do too much, but they did manage to pick off Undying and Rubik. The
he just wanted to wombo combo.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
It wasn't
Fear
actually
is starting
needed.
to get a little out of control as well here. He's 3-0 and 2 all of a sudden. He sort of jumped ahead. His farm was not great, and then he got these 3 kills with the massive power. He's gone for the like massive.
Rocket Barrage does a ridiculous amount of damage as Gyrocopter.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You would not expect it, especially if you don't play Gyrocopters.
Yeah.
Much.
Definitely. No, definitely. He can just jump out of there with a ton of damage. And it's interesting. There's a lot of different ways you can choose to build Gyrocopter. A lot of heroes, like, only certain skills are good to level early, so, like, you see very, very standard ways of building them. Like, for instance, Rubik. No Rubik ever picks up Spell Shield, Null Field early, except in very, very specific situations. But Gyrocopter, you can really go a lot of different ways. And Fear has chosen to max the Rocket Barrage very early, before putting any more points into Homing Missile and Flak Cannon. And this reflects his confidence in his team, right? Because he thinks, we have all these slows, like, Venomancer can slow. Magnus can keep someone in place for an extremely long time, and even Sprout from Nature's Prophet can. And I feel confident that my teammates can keep people in place and slow for me to land the entirety of this extremely high damaging but very short range Rocket Barrage onto them. And that's been true so far. I mean, he's managed to deal a lot of damage with that. Snaking beats Demon to a rune there. It's interesting. I think Demon didn't have the mana to actually skewer and pick it up.
He did skewer.
Oh, he did.
But there was a trap that Assassin used to slow him down.
Nice! Mid-flight. That's pretty clever. So Melk has switched into the bottom jungle. I think they think that they've won, and they're completely correct in this. They've won this lane top convincingly enough that they can afford to give Enigma the safer jungle to farm in. And Melk actually has Black Hole, so we could watch out for that. It might be interesting. And yeah, wow, one of the big problems for Dignitas is Tides of Time has nowhere to get levels and nowhere to really farm. He's level 3 now, and he's becoming more and more of a liability as the game goes on. He is 7 levels behind the top level person on the map, which is Demon. That's not.
He's basically a free kill.
Yeah.
Like he's hard support, really, right now, which is what we were expecting Rubik to be.
He's just he's stacking the camps and farming them with the Tombstone Jungle. I really like Tombstone jungling, actually. I think it's highly entertaining. To watch, if not to actually be an efficient way of farming. But wow, that Furion ult just tears through him, and actually way too sexy to slow too. I think this was a little... Oh no. I was gonna say it was optimistic by Bdes, but Demon runs it. Oh wow, and they're gonna get Owie as well. He only has level 1 Blake. Wow, he's going the extremely conservative 1-1-1 anti-mage build that you sometimes see when you need to go hard carry late.
Right.
He has 1 rank in his mana break, 1 rank in his blink, 1 rank in his spell shield, and 1 rank in his ult, and everything else is stats. And unfortunately, the lack of additional ranks in blink really hurt him there because he had 10 seconds left when Nature's Prophet put him in Sprout. So I don't know, 12-0. I'm not sure Dignitas are going to get a kill in this game. It's possible that they will, but at this point it's hard to tell how.
The spec black hole.
Where did they do that? Oh wow, yeah, I did miss that, but snaking.
It was such an uncommon or unorthodox choice.
So at this point, I think EG feels so good about their mobility. Fog does pick up the tower down here, that they can just sort of black hole and wait the entirety of the length of the black hole for Jo to fly over, for Demon to run over with the skewer, and it's fine. Just whoever was black holed will die sooner or later.
Right. Well, it's Templar Assassin, and
yeah.
You might say it's a waste. I mean, I guess he didn't have to do that.
Just because he's not that farmed? I guess, but...
But it just... Killing TA again basically ensures that he's never going to be able to come back.
Right. He doesn't even... Snake King does not have phase boots at this point, so he's still slow moving. He does not actually have that burst damage that you really want on your Templar Assassin. He's had to go more ranks of refraction than maybe he otherwise would want to. He might have a couple more ranks in meld if he was doing better. So really, Snaking has to be in an extremely defensive posture to try to get his farm. Tides of Time has to find farms somewhere. They need to get stuff on Owie.
He wants to kill Templar Assassin.
Yeah. I think it was smart of Demon to sort of pull that back. It was just sort of harassing to make Dignitas feel unsafe. Which, I mean, yeah, they don't have any towers top. They did do a good push through on the bottom, so they managed to pick up a tower down there. Yeah. But EG's side of the map is completely safe. Yeah.
And they're being constrained.
Yep, absolutely. To win this, Dignitas essentially need to, at this point, no matter what they were planning to before, and they probably came into this realizing that they would want to sort of turtle up and play slow. But now they really, really, really need to turtle up, sort of stay together enough that they can protect anti-mage and TA, but not together enough that they can still get their farm. And I don't know. Aoi is doing really well in terms of getting closer to his Battle Fury. He's only about 1,600 gold off from it. So once he has his Battle Fury, he'll be able to clear this jungle much more quickly and sort of claw himself back into this game. Keep in mind that EG's quality in terms of being able to deal damage later on is really not great. Snaking is going to get...
TA just got skewered up.
He does have a teleport, luckily, which is, there's that pro-level play where they actually carry TPs. If I was stuck up there, I think I'd be there for the next, 10 minutes or so.
So this goes back to my question, was that can you skewer up or down cliffs? He pushed him up the cliff, but he didn't go up the cliff. So was that just extremely pro Magnus play, or
it was pro Magnus play?
Right.
Pretty sure. He was in trouble there for a little bit, actually. I thought that Aoi might burn his mana down to the point where he couldn't skewer before his skewer cooldown came up, but Aoi decided to play a little more conservatively. So you were seeing a little bit of Demon versus Aoi action. I think Demon actually cannot just stand here. Yeah, he has got to play.
Well, part of the problem is Aoi, he doesn't have very high mana break, so he would burn Magnus's mana. It would take longer to burn it effectively, and Magnus a lot of damage.
Well, no, I think in a stand-up fight, Aoi would probably be favored, just because Demon started at very low mana, so he didn't have anywhere near enough mana to reverse polarity, for instance, which he probably wouldn't do anyway. I don't think even if Jo jumped in, they would be able to just pick off Aoi that easily.
Right, but with Empower,
sure,
and then a mana boots shockwave would be pretty strong.
Right.
I don't know.
No, I mean, yeah, definitely. They could definitely make Aoi's life a little more unpleasant. So Fear's been sort of farming the middle now, sort of dedicated. He still is, his farm is still nothing to really write home about. He's at 70 last hits, but the 3 kills is fantastic for him. I think, he still has better farm than Aoi just by virtue of being on the winning team. Oh, wow, Demon jumps in. He only reverse polarities Rubik, but Rubik will... Oh, that's just depressing. It's not depressing, it's funny. So they're going to take this mid tower without really any opposition. I don't know what Dignitas can do to stop a push here. Snaking's in quite a bit of trouble too, actually. He's Venom scaled. Oh, he just takes a brutal quantity of damage. Just in between his sort of refraction things, he's just getting hurt so much. And Venomancer, just by nature, is so good against Templar Assassin because of all his damage over time abilities taking off stacks of refraction. Aoi's sort of still farming here. This is smart. Aoi now is up to 110 last hits. He's really sort of come back into the game trying to do that carry thing where you come only when you're absolutely needed. But that's going to be soon. Demon was
there's another blink skewer.
That blink with the skewer is just...
At least he got off his tombstone.
Yeah, he did get his tombstone, and the tombstone does spawn creeps for all of those Nature's Prophet treants, which sort of stops this push right in its tracks, which is fantastic, because they didn't have to bring Aoi back. So Aoi actually will have, after 2 more creep waves, he'll have his Battle Fury. So that was great for Dignitas, actually. They do lose 2. They lose the Rubik at the tier 2, and they lose the Undying at the tier 3. But they... Tides of Time was extremely on the ball to drop that tombstone, and he dropped it on the high ground, which is even better because it's in a naturally defensible position. Just so as a
Anti-Mage should be able to buy his
yeah, and actually he should be able, he'll buy it right now. Yeah, that's great. So the courier is gonna bring it to him. The Tigu, good courier choice.
That was a combo breaker right there.
Ooh. Yeah,
Dignitas got their first kill.
They're on the board. That's my bad for missing that. I was busy staring at the courier. But we got Demon invisible. I wonder if he's gonna... He's got 3 seconds on a reverse polarity. I think he's probably gonna go for it. I think we're gonna see some Demon Dota.
He wants to kill Rubik. Rubik's very low. Well, not very low, but he doesn't have very much
low
HP
enough. At all. Here we go. Here's the skewer. He's gonna Q. He's not even gonna... Okay, he didn't need to reverse polarity.
That was he could have delayed one more time.
That was a completely superfluous reverse polarity, but it's fine.
It doesn't matter because they're so far ahead.
Oh yeah, he's 7-0. Magnus is 7-0.
Well, more importantly, he's level 12. Or sorry, 13.
13.
And Undying is level 5. That's 8 levels behind. So that gap grew.
Yeah. Definitely rough. I mean, Dignitas, there is hope. I think there's hope now where maybe there was less hope 4 minutes ago. They haven't lost a Rex. Their position hasn't noticeably worsened, and I think in some respects you could argue it's gotten better. Aoi's differential is sort of increasing in the sense that he's able to get farm. He finally has his Battle Fury. He's chewing through these creep camps up top, And I think that's really good for them. They really want to get Aoi to the point where he can sort of stand up against this onslaught.
Well, he is their only hope. You know, not to quote Star Wars because that's terrible, but he is the carry, and
I'm sure
really
there have
has
been
to carry the team right now.
Right. Oh yeah. So EG are going to sort of. I think EG feel that they can't really push right now, like without just a little bit of extra help. So they've got the DD on Demon, and they're using it to sort of secure this Aegis. Who do you think they're going to put on? Probably Fear, right?
Quadruple stack of Ancients.
Oh wow.
Radiant side and a double stack.
Double
stack
yeah.
Dire side.
So they did put it on Fear. Fear's actually done with his mech. No, he needs 200 more for his mech. He'll probably pick up this Ancient. Oh wow. Okay, yeah, he will. I think he will pick up this Ancient stack. Nope. Never mind.
They just want to push this tower.
He's just being Yep, he's just being aggressive, which is good. But he's almost done with his Manta style. That'll sort of triple up Gyrocopter.
Well, if you could knock down this tower,
for
then
carry Gyro. Oh yeah, I think
you're free to go take the Ancients.
Oh yeah, definitely. Whatever. The additional map control you get from being able to sort of deny this area space is very, very good. Right. But yeah, so Fear now has his flak cannon maxed out. This is sort of the part of the basis of a carry Gyrocopter is the fact that this flak cannon makes your auto attack AoE. So it hits for 6 attacks, you hit everything, and he's great for farming ancient camps like this.
So I believe the Satyr Hellcaller is doing the route. I'm not sure.
Where do you see that?
So mid lane Radiant side, he's been stacking the ancient camp. It's like,
oh, is he doing with automated? Yeah, he is. He's using the automated technique. So you can waypoint, since you have waypoints, since Dota's an RTS game, essentially, you can sort of waypoint your creeps to automatically set up this.
He's not doing it completely.
No, he's not.
He was just moving them pretty far back for some reason.
Well, he's probably healing. A Satyr Hellcaller is relatively... it has no armor, unlike the Wildkin or the Ursa. So you take a lot of damage each time you stack, especially when there's a lot of them. So if you don't want to have to mind control a new creep every time, you have to send it back to Fountain in between. You're going to see he's going to aggro and he might take a bit of damage. Actually, he might not. Yeah, he's using the spell, but if you run out of mana, you just send it back.
So the hard part about stacking at this level is that there's just so many Ancients that it's hard to get them all out of there.
Oh yeah, it's hard to make them all move. Although I think he got it there again.
There's like
6 stacks is unusual. Usually you max out at 5.
It's like
so they're putting a lot of pressure. They have the Manta Style on Fear, and they have the Aegis on Fear. I think they feel that that's enough to sort of get this done.
Yeah.
Although
Anti-Mage is still farming, and there's a fight going on right now.
I think they're going to wait until this is even lower. Although, that reverse polarity. Oh, and the black hole follow-up. Fogged is gone. Tides of Time is gone. Aoi's in, but he's a little late. Snaking does... they might be able to get Fear, but that's still only the Aegis at best. Oh, wow, Aoi's... Oh, brutal. He blinks in, and he's basically dead. Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
This is over, I think. I think Dignitas might have to GG out of this. I don't think they want to because, this is the losers bracket finals. If they're out, they're out. Right. Snaking and Aoi managed to pick off Fear, but now he's going to come back just angrier and still with full health in it. And he's got his Manta Style cooldown in a second. We got Tombstone is going to bog this up and try to kill off those conversions. Wow, they killed that. Yeah, definitely. Way Too Sexy's in trouble again. He manages to dodge the Skewer, which is good. Beatiz is down. Dignitas might hold this. Nope. I don't think so. Fear is just too strong. He's picking people off too much. Snaking was stuck in a Sprout. He's dead. Tides of Time will be picked up by the Rocket Barrage. Now, at their leisure, they're going to take this Tombstone. Fear uses his Manta Style at a very smart point to sort of get out of that Fogged trap. And Fogged is probably going to take the brunt of that homing missile, and that might be him dying if they follow that up. Yep, Demon's here. Skewers.
Skewers him back
the
out.
The stun skewer combo is the story of this game, and it's really this Magnus. This performance by Demon is incredibly commanding in this game. He's 9-0, and he's just generated a tremendous portion of the kills that EG have gotten. His teamfight participation he's been involved in 21 of their 26 kills.
He's 9/11.
He is 9/11. We should never forget this game.
Yeah. This is significant.
And we've got Melka not winning the Melka Award at all. Melka actually has not died, nor has he gotten a kill. This is sort of look at this ideal support score for Melk. 0-0.
0-0-10.
Support should be neither seen nor heard. And that's what you can always tell a Milford support.
Yeah.
And now they're just picking up this. So the Ancient stack is just great for Fear. Because of this Flak Cannon, he can deal so much damage. It's maybe not as great as heroes who just have Natural Splash like Luna, but Gyrocopter has additional things that made them decide to put him over Luna in this game. So Luna was available, but they decided to go for the Gyrocopter, I think because they were so confident that they had so many stuns and so many slows and such ability to dictate the positioning of the opposing heroes that they would always be able to land Gyrocopter's insane amount of like position-dependent damage.
The gold draft is basically hockey sticked, you know.
It is hockey sticking. Wow, yeah. So this is I don't really see a route at this point for Dignitas to get back into this. Now that Aoi got picked up 2 deaths and a
buyback on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really, and I mean Aoi
he farmed as well as he could. He did better than I would have expected.
Oh yeah, 217 last hits is fantastic, especially because he hasn't gotten that many in the last couple minutes. But he's farming this bottom jungle. He will have to go back. Does he have a TP?
Right now, he does.
All he's got is Battle Fury, Tranquil Boots, and just the Yasha. Fear has a full butterfly on top of Helm of the Dominator, Phase, Manta style. Like, usually you wouldn't see an anti-mage not being able to stand up to a Gyrocopter, but that's exactly what you're going to see now. Doubly so with that Empower from the Magnetor.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. The Empower plus Flak Cannon is actually a really strong combo. Because Empower gives 50% damage to each hit from the carry, and this carry in question deals damage to as many targets as are available in a 1,000 radius.
So Demon skewered. It was a good skewer, but made the
and that's the GG,
call down.
So, yep.
Miss. Yeah.
Yeah, it did actually make the nuke miss, but I think the nuke is really the least important part of Gyrocopter in the context of this. That's actually why they also have held off on killing those tombstones, because that Flak Cannon with the Empower is just picks off tombstone hits alarmingly fast. So this Gyrocopter is a very interesting pick. I wonder if we're not going to see him a little more often, just because his strength against Undying is extremely popular in the metagame now.
Right.
So as an Undying counter
counters it. So
yeah. As an Undying counter and carry, I think there's a lot to be said for this Gyrocopter, actually. This is very interesting. Otherwise, this game is extremely one-sided. But, you know, interesting picks, and amazing to sort of see the Demon Dota in action on that Magnus, because that was just really impressive.
Right.
Hope he doesn't die to this tower.
Demon probably will die to this tower, I don't know.
No, Demon, no! I think he's AFK. That's sad. I'm upset about that. That makes it look like Fear had the best game here, when it was clearly Aoi's still trying to fight it out. Oh no, he's offline. That was just the bot. The bot's trying to fight it out. Brutal. Brutal. Alright, we're going to take a break. We might do the grand finals. We might not. We'll sort of take a look. But thanks, Vanick. We might come back in a bit to do more. Actually, yeah, I'll wait for the GG screen to come up. Then we'll sort of stop for the time being.
Let's see what items everyone gets, even though this is a custom game, so they don't get anything.
Yeah, I want to see if I get any items for watching this. And yeah, so EG's going to advance. They're going to have a rematch with Empire. They were against Empire in the winners bracket finals, and now this will be against them again in the grand finals. And so yeah, so we got just pretty standard builds for everybody. But Demon actually did finish the refresher orb in the end. I didn't notice that. But yeah, very one-sided. Dignitas wanted the sort of turtling composition. They were completely unable to with the disruption from EG in their jungle and additional pressure all over the map.
It was kind of your gank/push comp versus a carry comp, and generally we know how that turns out.
Yeah, I think just the hour of carry comps is just not. You really have to just have perfect execution and be very.
You have to like draft it so that your carry comp can succeed, and that I don't think that is what they drafted this game. So.
Absolutely, yeah. I think they were really relying on having the run of their own jungle to give them defensive, and EG was very smart about that, and they ran the Enigma in the top.
The offensive tri-lane.
Yeah. Yeah, very smart of EG. All right, I'll be back in a bit.